Hey everyone, this is Olay Shorunke from Laddering Your Success, and you're listening to the LYS Podcast. All right, good afternoon. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. Welcome all. Thanks again for joining us for another episode of Edu-Steps, powered by Laddering Your Success. As always, I'm here with my good friend Festus Amoye. Festus, how you doing today?
Good, man. It's good to be back in the mix. Was not here last week, but I know you guys had a great conversation, and so I'm looking to contribute today. Thank you.
Yeah, we had a good conversation last week. It was really good. Good friend Jamart Crawford, soon to be doctor. How you doing this Sunday, Jamart?
Happy to be here with you guys. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. And my good friend, the provost, King Arthur in the flesh.
Okay. That guy, D Hill.
That guy. Clayton.
Bigsby. What's up, man? Y'all good?
Daniel Hill. Yes, sir. We doing good, man. We doing good, man.
Good.
Happy to be here on another wonderful Sunday. Yeah, so real quick, yesterday, me and Crawford did one of those, terrain race. We did one of those little 3-mile obstacle courses. That was pretty fun. Still can't
I bet y'all's bodies are hurting.
I feel like a 36, soon to be a 37-year-old. I definitely do. Yeah.
You know, when somebody had a good workout, when their voice is low, like they seem like they're super calm.
They've been humbled, by life. It was funny, man. We seen them 25-year-olds. And we saw the 25-year-olds out there, and they were just, young and spry, healthy ligaments, healthy tendons, and you could tell their jogging form was just impeccable. I mean, their energy was ridiculous. Climbing ropes all the way to the top, monkey bars with no problems. I'm just like, man, this is ridiculous. Meanwhile, I'm over here, using breathing techniques and exercises just to get through. You got to, breathing through the nose, out through your mouth, all that good stuff, man. But it was fun. We had a good time.
Man.
The cool thing is you don't have to jog it. You don't have to run it. You can also walk it.
Yeah, you can walk it.
Not only would I be walking, I'd be moonwalking because I ain't
Shimon. He said, Annie, are you okay? Let me go check on Annie. I gotta
know what I'm saying?
Check on Annie. Gotta make sure Annie's okay.
Hey. The way my back is set up right now. So here's a funny thing. So I was working out. What was that? Like, I would say like Tuesday. Was it either Tuesday, my Tuesday or my Thursday workout? And so I was like, man, I got to start doing more power moves. You know what I'm saying? Because I I can't jump like I used to. You know what I'm saying? I used to be able to jump, and I could. I'm not saying I could dunk or anything like that, but even for my size, I could get up at least.
I remember you could get up there.
I had some ups, bro.
You could get up
like
there. Yeah.
Right now, if I jump, I probably could go like 6 inches. You know what I'm saying? Like no kind of leg power whatsoever. So I was like, you know what? I need to get back on my grind. So I'm gonna do some, what do they call it? Ski jumpers off of the Bosu ball. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, wow.
You jump side to side. So I'm like, I'm gonna hop on the Bosu, and then I'm gonna come, bro. My SI joint went out, bro. Your SI is like where your sacral connects with your hip. You know what I'm saying? Bro, when that thing went out, it felt like somebody stabbed me with a knife. And it's still to this day, bro. To this day, like, bro, it's still pain me. I'm like, I've been doing my, what do they call those stretches? My little yoga poses, so after doing that, I realized, like, it's just not the same. I can't, how Mente used to make fun of me for stretching all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was saying Google sacral. But so anyway, yeah, man. Now I ain't got it like that no more. I wish I did. But even with the stretches and the warm-ups, nah, man, when I say that pain was for real.
I can see. I'm looking at it now.
Oh, the SI joint? Yeah.
Yeah.
That SI joint could go out on you, bro. So.
Jeez Louise. Yeah, man, it's some things. I told Crawford before we got going. I was like, man, I'm not loose in my hips, and it was evident because I had not been stretching.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, this is good. even though I'm like, I'm not super sore. It just feels like I worked out some body parts I haven't worked out in a while. So it's not that bad. But I was like, this is just a good thing to like just get back into the mode of like full body stretching. I remember we would do like full body stretches.
Yeah.
And that was like a workout. Because the stretches were so dynamic. They would call it dynamic stretching.
Yeah.
That, man, you'd be like, we got to work out too?
After this.
I'm sweating from a stretch. You know what I mean? So yeah, definitely getting back on that is key. I kept telling Crawford, I was like, my hips ain't loose. He was like, how much time do you need? I was like, ain't enough time. Just got to go. We ain't got enough time. We ain't got enough time.
Just do it.
Just got to do it. Yeah. All right. So wonderful. Let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. Last week, we had a really wonderful time talking about, well, basically, this is the LYS Scholarship Series. And so we're so fortunate, man. Festus did a wonderful job with the LYS Scholarship, the guidebook, just going over just foundational definitions and implications and how-tos on so many things regarding not just scholarships, but scholarship letters, the different types of scholarships, how to, when to, what's a plan, just so many cool things. So we kind of just started going into that, and we're going to continue on that discussion. Why? Well, first of all, as the date of this podcast, it is 3/12. Sorry, 3/12. It's 2:23 p.m. Central Standard Time, but it's March the 12th, and we are in the heart of scholarship application time, right? Kids are high school seniors are basically finalizing their college choices and their degree plans, their majors, and their sources of funding. And these are some of the important times. These are important questions that you have to ask. And if you're not prepared, if you have not been prepared, if you haven't been, getting ready for this from your sophomore year, your junior year, right now, it feels like there's a lot compacted within a very small time. And the anxiousness, the anxiety, just that tense feeling comes up. And if you are going through that, it's okay. It happens, definitely. And it will happen. I mean, these things happen. That's life. But that's why LYS is here. So the reason why we're doing this, once again, is because finding scholarships, it's hard. People always say scholarships are out there, but when you go and check, there are more ads and pop-ups and scholarship information. And most importantly, we want to give you the straightest path to getting that money. Okay. So last week we talked about the different types of scholarships. We talked about strategies that you could use, making a list for fall scholarship deadlines and spring scholarship deadlines, and putting the dates there so you kind of have a way to organize what you're looking for. We talked about merit-based versus need-based scholarships. And we talked about making sure you use that money wisely when you get those scholarships, right? Part of the reason why, scholarship winners win the scholarship is because those who determine the winners see a certain level of responsibility in those recipients or those winners. And so making sure that we keep on with that responsibility that's been given to us with those scholarships, with those grants, right? With that financial aid that's given to us. We talked about the power of the financial aid office, which is an underutilized resource when it comes to scholarships. Okay, we mentioned the fact that although they are very busy in the beginning of the year, coming back in the middle of the semester to ask in-depth questions about scholarships, work study, or new grants when they have more time is very, very important and can be very beneficial for you. Okay, and also very important, we talked about not letting laziness stop us from getting the bag, right? Non-institutionalized scholarships are the most underutilized scholarships because they require the most work, right? You got to take a lot of work to go in and find them. There's lots of information that's required, and they're not heavily advertised. And so we're going to jump into part 2, and we're going to continue on the same vein. And I'm just going to stop and ask everyone a quick question. And this is a little geography, but depending on where you are, it's going to be a little different for you, okay? I've never gone trick-or-treating, but I've lived vicariously through friends and, coworkers and things of the sort. And I remember we had one funny time. You know, my parents were raised in the faith, and so they raised us in the faith. And I'll never forget when I was a kid, Halloween was on a Saturday, and we were watching Nickelodeon. So Snick, Saturday Night, Nick, if you're familiar. And this family came to our house, knocked on the door. We was living in an apartment. And my mom opened the door and they were like, trick or treat. And my mom was like, oh my goodness. So she didn't have any candy or anything prepared. She got some of the oldest, dustiest butterscotch candies I've ever seen in my life. I'm talking about, like, man, you would have thought like there would have been like hair and lint on them things. And she was like, yeah, happy Halloween. All right now. And I was like, man, I know them kids mad. When I say them, the dusty crusty, and everyone knows them. If you don't know what I'm talking about like the basic circular butterscotch disc, yellow wrapper. That's what you give to someone that's what you give to an enemy. That's what you give to someone you straight up don't like.
Dang, is that bad?
That's all she had. What are you saying?
Is that bad, bro? Is that bad?
Well, the butterscotch?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, I think now I've come to appreciate them. I've come to appreciate actually the Werther's original.
Well, I'm just saying how old they were. She kept them in the purse that long.
oh, for sure. Yeah, man.
You know
yeah. I think it was just a grace of God. She just happened to find them. Because we didn't have any candy. I mean, you know, we hadn't hit up any of them parties. You know, normally back in the day, you go to them parties, man, you get enough candy to last you, you know what I'm saying, couple days, man. But yeah, we couldn't do that. So I'm just going to ask y'all this quick question. We're in Houston, so would you rather trick or treat in a local apartment complex, or would you rather go trick or treating in River Oaks? And so if you're not from Houston, River Oaks is, how would I describe it? Festus, probably the
upper
zip
crust.
Codes in River Oaks. What'd you say?
I said the upper crust.
Upper crust, right? The upper echelon, right?
Another way of putting it's one of the higher income earning zip codes.
Right?
In
Exactly.
The state.
So, you know, if you're in Dallas, I believe the name of the area is it Highland?
Correct. Highland Hills,
Highland Village or something like that?
I think it's Highland
Hills. We have a Highland Village, but is that what it is over there?
Highland Hills?
Highland, you know, yeah, something like that.
It's some Highlands. It's either something Hills or Hills Highland or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, just take out, you know, River Oaks and then put the one for your area, right? And so I just want to talk about that. Obviously, growing up, I always told myself, man, I wish I could go to the nicer areas like River Oaks for if I could go trick or treating. Why? Well, the myth or the thing that you always hear people saying is you would get instead of the little fun size
Snickers, the bigger candy. You get the full size candy bars.
They got more resources. They can give you the big one. But why else? Why else?
It's not old and crusty like your mom. Your mom's Werther's Originals.
It's not old and crusty. It's not old and crusty. Truth hurts. Right?
Yeah.
Truth hurts. It's not old and crusty. Could we say that it's well lit?
Yeah. Well lit.
Those areas are more well lit. Could we say that it's safe? It's more safe?
We could say that. Yeah.
I think we could say it's more safe, right? Are these areas harder to get into? The River Oaks, the nicer areas?
It depends, really. It depends because interestingly, River Oaks is not a gated community. However, a lot of the homes are gated. So it's like, you know what I mean? You could drive by, but, you know, get to that front door gonna be an issue. You can get past them dogs.
There we go. So I'm hearing we get the large, we get the big king size candy bars. We can have a discussion on what a king size Snicker looked like back in my day and what they got going on right now, which is a disservice to the little ones. I'm just kidding. But bigger candy bars, more safe, well lit. It's same access, but getting directly into it is a little bit harder, right? 100%. And so I think the reason why, you know, I wanted to put that there is because that's kind of like some of these scholarships. So in our previous slide, we talked about these non-institutionalized scholarships, right? very underutilized. You have the same access to them, right? You have the same access to them, but they just require a little bit more work. They're a little bit harder to get into. That doesn't mean you can't necessarily get them, but they're still there. You still have access to them. So real quick, Festus, do you want to take a couple seconds and go deep into that? Like, just talk a little bit more about the access to those other types of those scholarships?
To the non-institutionals?
Yes.
Yeah. So the great part about the non-institutional scholarships are the fact that they are open to any and everyone, right? So let me see if I can pull one such scholarship up. And so, this is why you guys have to join the call, because if you join the call, you get special sauce. And again, I can go through something you might have personally. I know there's a Taco Bell scholarship. Look at that. Boom. Taco Bell scholarship. A lot of people are like, huh?
Taco Bell, like Yo Quiero Taco Bell?
Yo Quiero Taco Bell. They have a foundation and they have $10 million of scholarships they've awarded, right? And so it's pretty easy to enter and win, right? 30-second video, 30 seconds to 2 minutes to talk about, what is your passion? Oh, wow, that sounds like something we talk about all the time. How are you currently pursuing it? That sounds like something we talk about all the time. How do you plan to use your passion to make a positive change in your community and the world? That sounds like something we talk about all the time. How will your education help enable you to pursue your passion and make a change? That sounds like something we talk about all the time. So
I'm starting to hear a theme here, Festus.
You see what I'm saying? So basically, if you listen to us, if you're following us, you can learn how to best pursue a scholarship like this, right?
Hey, LYS fam, it's Olay. Just wanted to take a quick break to let you know that even though the cost of college can be daunting, the LYS Scholarship Guide ebook can assist you in realizing your dreams. You can identify and apply for scholarships using the information, advice, and resources in our comprehensive guide. Also, we've provided a template for a successful scholarship essay to help you stand out from the crowd. Don't allow student loan debt to control you. Get your copy of the LYS Scholarship Guide ebook right away to take charge of your destiny. Simply go to lys.com/parents to get your copy today. Now let's get back to that fire conversation.
Now, the thing about it is you got a bunch of people who are going after this particular type of scholarship. Bold.org. Okay, so another thing that you could do is go to a website like this, bold.org. Now, the great thing about bold.org is, and we talked about this with Cedric from Edu-Hustle, is that
Cedric Edu-Hustle.
Yeah, shout out Edu-Hustle community. If you're an educator and you're listening, you need to be in that Edu-Hustle Facebook group. But see, these are scholarships that are actually funded by individuals versus institutions. And again, yeah, like this is a pretty healthy one, $10,000. But a lot of times what people do is they work together to fund these scholarships. And so when the scholarship is here, you could have people actually raise funds for the scholarship here, and then the scholarship gets distributed to students from here, from bold.org. And so this is just another way to be able to access, again, those smaller non-institutional scholarships that aren't as fancy, right? But that can still help you pay for those books, pay for gas in your car, right? You get to campus, you didn't realize like mommy and daddy, ain't there, and you took a couple trips and they only give you a couple $100 on your gas card every month or something like that. And so now, all those friends hitting you up from rides and they're not putting $5 in the tank, you know what I'm saying? And now you need some gas money. Well, scholarships is one way to fill that gap, especially these smaller non-institutional scholarships. So I hope this helps somebody. I'll turn it back over to you, Olay.
Man, wonderful, wonderful stuff right there, man. It's always awesome. Festus always be pulling something. Never expected it coming out the sleeve, man. A boy's talking about I hadn't heard about that till right now. That Live My scholarship. And I was like, dang, 10 million?
Well, that's how much they've given out so far. Yeah, that's how much they've given out so far. Yeah,
that's awesome, man.
And so I think just a little bit more on that subject. Okay, you're about to go for it. Go ahead, because we'll.
No. Go ahead.
Well, no, I was going to say the thing is, you have to think about the big picture, right? If there's a smaller scholarship and it's open to everybody, you might get more applications. You might not. It really depends on how you find the scholarship and also what the purpose of the scholarship is, because there's a lot of scholarships that are community-based scholarships, meaning you have to live in that city, or you have to live in that state, or you have to live in that county, right? And so those are great scholarships because even though they might not be, $10,000, $20,000, the fact is that because of the restrictions around the scholarship, it reduces the pool size of those who could actually apply for the scholarship, and that ends up being very helpful.
Awesome. Absolutely, man. Definitely. I think we're going to get into that a little bit as well. Kind of like the metaphor of like hitting singles or doubles instead of shooting for home runs all the time, right?
100%.
Right. Yep. So quick note here for high school juniors, seniors, and non-traditional freshmen. Make sure you understand what scholarships are offered for your major. I think that's a big thing. Super, super, super important. My mind goes back to Amoye, Daniel Hill's niece, who we talked to, and just the plethora of information that we were able to pull up when we looked not just into the University of Alabama, because her original goal or plan was to go to the University of Alabama to major in nursing.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, right? Now,
all day.
Go ahead.
Nothing. I mean, all day. I said all day.
So the power, I didn't see the power in the website. I got a little intrigued when we started going deeper, looking into the scholarships, but it wasn't until we looked into the nursing school, which was her major, and then we started looking at what types of financial aid were given that she had access to based off of her major. That is I'm having a day today, because as soon as I said that, I'm like, hold on, homie, we major. Sorry, I just had had that Kanye
la.
But once you go into that major, right, you start to see like how when you start picking that major, like all the different types of access of financial aid, of grants, of scholarships, of all those things that are given to you towards your major. And I think that's super, super key. There is making sure you understand what scholarships are offered for your major. And if you take it a step back and go into how LYS, one of the reasons LYS was started because one of the stats that Festus used to always say, and I always get this number wrong, but it was somewhere between 50 and 60, right? So I'm going to say about 52. Correct me if I'm wrong, Festus. 52% of the people who work in a career, their degree has nothing to do, or their major they chose had nothing to do with the career field that they were currently working in.
Correct. It's around 50 to 52%.
All right, around 50 to 52. And that was just so baffling because I was like, that's me. I was like, that's me. That's what I'm doing. And so I think a lot of these organizations, these nonprofits, these groups, these organizations that give out scholarships, there's a certain level, there's certain things that they're looking for, right? Festus, you said about 5 minutes ago, do you know your purpose? Do you know why you were put here on this earth? Are you living and currently moving? Are you making strides and working in your purpose? If you found that purpose and you already know how you want to make an impact in the world, there are going to be people out there ready to give you those funds, ready to help you out and say, hey, you're ready? Go ahead and do it. Right? You know, I was thinking about this in my head. I was like, man, one day I would love to have a scholarship, and it would be a botany-based or an agricultural-based scholarship. And if I had it, it'd be named after my dad, because this man literally dedicated his entire life to gardening and agriculture. And
your dad is the truth when it comes.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like I would be looking for honestly, it wouldn't even be I wouldn't be looking for the 4.0. I'd be looking for the 2.5, 2.75. Don't get me wrong. You got a great GPA. That's awesome. That's great. But, I'm looking for the kid that maybe no one really thinks about, but there's just something special about them. And they're really passionate about plants. Because that's basically who my dad was, or that's who my dad is, And so I was like, man, and now I understand why, like, when you figure out your major, why there's so many people who are like willing to give once you figured out what your purpose, because it's like, your major, but you also know your purpose, right? So I'm gonna open that up for everybody. And we can, oh wow, I didn't open it up and then a whole bunch of people didn't join in. I didn't even realize.
Yeah, we had a
I was busy talking, and then I looked down, like 7 participants.
Yeah, we had a couple of people join the family. Yeah, I think one thing I'll just chime in again is people like to give you a pat on the back when they see you doing a good job. Now, oftentimes we kind of get in that mindset that says, pat me on the back and I'll go do a good job. You know what I mean? Instead of just saying like, okay, I'm gonna go do my thing with you or regardless. Now you could come along with me for the journey. You know what I'm saying? But that's kind of the thing what a scholarship is. Oftentimes we think of a scholarship as like, oh, the only people who get scholarships are like people who have these wonderful things behind them or whatever, when in reality, it's really somebody giving you a pat on the back. And this is the thing that you'll find is, especially when you're talking about professional jobs and even non-professional jobs, welding is a huge one. Welding is a huge one, right? Like if you can learn welding, welding on the low end is paying $75 an hour now on the low end. So they'll bring you to a job site and pay you $75 an hour, and you might only work 2 or 3 hours because so much stuff needs to be done before you could actually get to the weld. But anyway, let me not belabor that. We had a few people join us. Shout out Carlos, Kemi, Terrence. Welcome in. We're talking about scholarships, and so this is part 2 of our series on scholarships. And so yeah, we'll kind of open it up for questions from you guys.
Well, yeah, let me do another shout out to Daniel Hill. I met
for sure
Carlos through Daniel at church. And so, he was telling me, kind of about him, and I said, all right, just give me a number. I'll send some stuff out. And Kemi is my first teaching partner back at MATA. And I think Terrence is her nephew, if I'm not mistaken. Hey, Kemi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. You're correct.
All right. Yeah,
How you
I know
doing?
she was good. How you doing?
Good.
So she was telling me that she had a nephew that was getting ready to go. And I said, well, yeah, let's get some scholarship stuff going on. So absolutely. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Kemi. So any questions that you have, anything that you're interested about knowing, we got I was about to say the Dave Ramsey or Scott. I don't even want to do that to you, Festus. Because you so much. Not to say Dave Ramsey's not cool, but I'm saying you know what I'm saying? You plethora.
Dave Ramsey, don't got nothing. I'm joking.
He's his own, you know what I'm saying? But literally any question that you have regarding, and I don't care what situation, because that's what we're here for. We're here for I got a weird situation. We're here for I don't know, right? This is a weird one. We're here for it, right? Because you may think it's never been done. You may think you're the first person in that situation. Trust me, there's been someone in that situation before. So any questions you got, throw them out there. Let's get some answers today.
Sure. Hey, bro, I remember my homeboy looking for just scholarships for I think it's his son. I don't know who's the oldest. His son or the daughter, Carlos. I can't remember which one was the oldest, but he was looking for scholarships for her or him.
Okay. Oh, is that Carlos? Like Carlos?
Yeah, that's Carlos, ain't that Carlos?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Do you know?
Yeah, this is Carlos.
Hey, how's it going?
How y'all doing?
Good.
Oh, my God.
You at work right now? I know you said you was going to be in the office on Sundays. There he is. So if you oh no, you're on mute right now.
I apologize.
Oh, no
Go
worries,
ahead.
no worries. Hey, LYS fam, it's Olay once again. You know, these days, many families are busy, but want personalized attention. We at Laddering Your Success understand this dilemma and have created a unique approach to help guide you and your child with personal development tools to build a life of purpose. This intimate approach is helpful for those parents that feel the need to have a focused heart-to-heart conversation deciding on the next steps after high school. We provide individual post-secondary planning, virtual customized college and career counseling, and scholarship guidance and planning. Our one-on-one sessions are tailored to each individual student to maximize their potential in the post-secondary realm. With our guidance, your child will be able to make their dreams a reality. Don't wait. Simply go to lys.com/parents to get your copy today. Now let's get back to business on this podcast. If you can, just let us know the ages of your kids. What grade are they in?
My daughter is 19 and my son is 14.
All right, bet. Okay. So Festus, 14, 19. I'm assuming we start with the 19-year-old first.
Yeah,
that's my daughter.
Yeah. Okay. So the biggest thing, 19, is if she's able to do any dual credit or dual enrollment while she's in high school. Is she graduated, or because 19, sometimes some people graduate, some people are on their way out.
She already graduated. She graduated last year. She took a year off, you could say, off of school.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And now she's barely calling me and see like, hey, what I need to do, right?
Yeah. So she's did what's called a gap year. So after a gap year, hopefully she's really kind of settled in on what she wants to do. The first thing I would look at is try to do a dual enrollment for a 2-year and a 4-year, right? Or enroll at a 2-year during like the summers and things like that, summers and what they call mini-mester breaks, and then do a full 4-year school, right? The reason being is in the state of Texas, there's a law that every 4-year school is required to take the first 2 years, regardless of wherever you went, right? But and it's probably better if I try to show some of this to you, okay? Because some of this, yeah, let me see here. I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, so for example, credit hours, long Texas, and there's actually some other stuff I can show you on this Texas credit hours. Okay. See. Okay. So here's the state of Texas administrative code. Did I lose it? So this is the actual law regarding transfers for higher ed, right? So in all institutions of higher ed must accept transfer credit for successfully completed hours identified in subsections of this section for associate's or bachelor's degree, in the same manner credit awarded for a non-transfer student in a degree program. So you could go into this in depth, but basically it's saying that if you transfer from Wharton Junior College and you go to UT has to accept whatever you did at Wharton up to a certain level, right? And so this is this caveat down here, right? It's usually up to the first 60 credit hours, but the catch-22 is this: it also determines the school based off the school policy. So let's say, for example, she goes to Wharton Junior College and then she says, hey, I'm going to go to UT. UT can say, well, we only take the first 15 hours that apply, right? Based off of their policy and what her major is. So that's it gets a little sticky there, right? So do you know exactly what school she wants to go to next, or is she just trying to get into college, or what's she trying to do?
Well, right now she's still she told me she wanted to go to college. She doesn't know what she wants to study for. Mm-hmm. She's got a few things that she wants to do. I guess the year off threw her off, right? She was having too much fun, I guess, and working.
Yeah.
And so she told me she wants to go to college. She doesn't know what yet. So she's still, and she lives in Laredo right now. So she's looking at Texas A&M University.
Okay. So that's good. So one of the things we talk about in the scholarship guidebook is about the gap year and making the best use of the gap year. So a lot of people, when they take the gap year, the problem is they don't have a plan on how they're going to use the gap year. They're just like, yo, I'm going to take a break. Well, then what ends up happening to them is they end up losing a lot of their learning and their what they call academic momentum is the actual term. However, the thing is, this is why I think, and this is the catch-22. This is hard, right? If she was to say, hey, let me start at a JUCO or junior college or something like that, the problem is sometimes they'll put you in remedial courses, and a lot of kids get frustrated and they're like, man, they put me in remedial math because your test scores went down after you graduated from high school because you took a break and you didn't learn new stuff during that time period. You see what I'm saying? And so that's something she's going to have to really fight through. And a lot of schools do offer tutoring, and there's free tutoring, Khan Academy, stuff like that. She should really take advantage of that. For all Texans. Okay. And so this is a really good website because let me try to break this down in a way that makes sense. Is the goal is not just going to college, it's graduating. And depending on what she's going for, right? She needs to look at, do I need a degree for that? Or do I need a certificate for that? Right? So that's one thing I would really, really encourage her to break down, which again, BLS.gov, let's say, for example, she has 3 options. Okay, there's what's called career clusters. Are those same thing in the same career cluster? So let's say, for example, nursing, doctor, and phlebotomist are all going to be in the same cluster of careers because they're in the sciences, the health sciences. This thing is taking so long. I'm sorry. It's taking a while to load. So those are all in the health sciences. So if you take a biology class, it's still going to transfer over to whether you're doctor, phlebotomy, whatever, right? But a phlebotomy class is actually a certificate that you could get in 6 weeks or 8 weeks, just so that you can get something under your belt. A lot of times, some students need that quick win to get them to be like, yeah, I can do this. And then they can look for the next thing. But the other big part about that, it changes their social circle, right? Because when you've not been in school, you hung with the friends who probably weren't in school. And then they're not as supportive when you're trying to go do your thing. You see what I'm saying? I don't know why this is not loading. Sorry, y'all.
That's sauce right there. That's mambo sauce.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
That's mambo sauce.
And so the thing is, trying to make sure you graduate. I don't know what's up with this website right here. Olay, can you pull up this?
There's probably thousands of people on it right now. Is college for all Texans?
Yeah, college for all Texans. I don't know why it's not loading. I'll stop sharing. Olay could share this real quick. Okay, and if you want to take a couple, I don't know if you're taking notes, Carlos, but he got some good, and he got a lot of notes. Okay, so Olay, you want to drop that website in the chat when you get a chance?
He actually just sent me a few good things over here. So I'll be looking into these.
Yeah, I sent him and Kemi some stuff on EK guy.
Okay, perfect. Okay, yeah, that is probably the big. So, man, there's so much now. It's balled up, trying to come all out at once.
Yeah, just breathe. So, I know you're getting excited.
So we will, Olay, if you could do that too on our YouTube channel, the Ike guy, and you could use the one I don't know if we still have the one with Daniel up. Maybe the one I did with with Lone Star, the one I did with Crawford, right? So the thing is, there's some methods you could use to find your passion and your purpose and meaning in education. And so Olay's going to share those with you guys, because that will help her to kind of figure out okay, what should I really go after? And then she needs to kind of determine, okay, do I need a certificate versus a degree, right? I like this ladder illustration. Are you able to get that website up, Olay? If
I've got the same issue, man. That thing is, I think loading. Honestly, it's March 12th. I think this thing is jacked. I think a lot of people I don't know if it's a traffic or what. It's just spinning. It's not really letting me in.
It's not loading. Okay, let me, goodness. You know what? Let me do this.
It's called what?
It's a college for all Texans.
All right, let me try.
Yeah, that thing is taking a super long time to load. Okay, let me do this because that will probably save us some headache, and I think it's appropriate for where we're at. Let's do this. Okay, what I'll do is I'll go through these slides. That way I could present to you in a logical order. Otherwise, it's just going to sound like bits and pieces of information that may not make a ton of sense.
Either way, I already wrote it down, so I'm gonna come back to it anyways.
Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is gonna help make a lot of sense. Okay, so we're just gonna skip ahead. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so knowing what options your child has can be confusing. Knowing how to identify your child's skills and ability to choose a career that best suits their needs, and not knowing what you can do to minimize student loan debt. Okay, so every kid has 6 options. Number 1 that everybody talks about is college. Number 2 is community college, a tech school or trade school. Number 3 is military. Number 4 is go straight to work. Number 5 is start a business, or number 6 is stay home on your couch, right? So nobody wants to stay home on the couch. Ain't that right, Terrence? So the next thing is, let's look at the actual cost itself. College, public school is about $15,000. Private schools is upwards of $43,000. If you go to like St. Thomas, I think they're around that, or they might be around $45,000 now, or Houston Baptist or something like that. So community college is around $5,000 a year. Actually, it's closer to like $3,500 a year. A tech school would be like, I think they call it UTI, Universal Trade Institute or something like that, will be like $3,000 to $15,000 depending. Trade schools are around that same block, right? So you usually could pay for these 2 above with scholarships and grants, okay? And I'll have to break down scholarships and grants a little bit. So military is great because you get the GI Bill, you get what's called Hazelwood Act if you're here in Texas, you get experience and you can get certified through the military. So there's some really good resources for that. Obviously, work study. So even though you get scholarships, you can still do work study on campus. And work study is like a job that the school gives you. It might be working in the library, or it might be helping out as a teaching assistant or something like that to help reduce tuition. Starting a business, you could go to certain SBA programs. It's a little bit harder, but it's not impossible. Or they could stay at home on the couch again. So let's talk about different opportunities. Dual credit is what we were talking about before, where if you could do it in high school or in college, right? If you're out of high school, then you just go to 2 universities, 2-year university and a 4-year university at the same time. Why at the same time? Is because, and that website we're trying to show you, there's what's called exemptions. So exemptions mean there's charges that the state charges, they can't charge you that twice. So for example, if there's a computer lab fee, right? They can't charge you 2 computer lab fees, right? If it's a state charge. So basically you could still get credit, college credit, while you're going, right? And again, as you're changing that environment, a lot of people don't really understand this. Is like, okay, I get to college, I don't know all these people. It's big, especially like as a freshman, you got 800 people in the class, you got 300 people in the class. Don't nobody know you're there. Nobody's really holding you accountable. Well, if you go to community college, there's 15, 20 people in there. These are people who they've been in the workforce. They're trying to go back to school to, you know what I'm saying? So the environment's totally different. It's not like this big party environment. Most of the people there mean business, right? So because of that, you get a different perspective as a student, right? And so that's why I really encourage that. But you still have to check with the exact school's policy. So check with Texas A&M's policy, because a lot of the schools now have partnership programs with a community college. So it might be like Laredo Community College with Texas A&M, right? I wouldn't say your daughter would be a good candidate for testing out just because she took the gap year and it didn't seem like she really planned the gap year well, right? So we'll skip over this. Okay, and then so I think that helped to structure things a little bit better, right? And so I just want to show you a couple of websites, which another good one for your daughter would be capital ID. So this website here, I'm gonna drop this to you. Okay, so Capital Idea has multiple locations. They have one here in Houston, but it's a really good program. Basically, they call it Texas, I think it's 3060 program. Basically, the state of Texas was like, hey, we need to get more people to graduate or to go to school. So basically what they do is they will help pay for some of those programs like phlebotomy or different types of things like that. And so you could come over here and you could just look at the different programs that they'll pay for. They'll also help with college prep, but they'll help pay for her books, right? So as she's getting into a course, they'll help pay for her books and a lot of things that people struggle with depending on the school she's going to. Okay, so I just dropped that in the chat. And so you can see kind of some of the information here about what they do. Basically, they try to get freshmen to get higher earning jobs, right? So $20-something an hour. And so if your daughter's not like one of those gung-ho super academic people, then I would say, look, do something like this, make sure you graduate, right? And just knock out that first. Usually you're probably going to have to knock out a first semester, and that's going to help people make sure you're serious, that type of thing. And then you could find plenty of support from there, from the school as well. So is this helpful? Because I'm now rambling.
Hey, this is actually very helpful. I wish I would have known this stuff when she was in high school. You get me?
Yeah.
And so now that my 14-year-old is a freshman, I'm gonna start looking more into this for him. Well, my daughter is like, she's working and she's I guess that gap year like gave her so many options. Now she's like, I don't know what I want to do, if I want to do this, if I want to do that. And like you said, she didn't plan her gap year, which is, I didn't even know that was a thing, right? Because I didn't even go to college, like, just to be honest.
Yeah.
But that would have been good to be like, hey, you need to plan your gap year. That way, by the time you're ready to come back, you have your options ready to roll. And it didn't happen that way. It was just like, I'm going to just take a year off. And now it's like, I think I want to do this. I want to think I'm going to do that. So this is actually a lot of help. I've actually met a lot of parents at my son's school in Pato, and I'm going to let them know about this stuff.
Well, yeah, thank you. The thing is, us growing up, we didn't know about all of this stuff either. And so because we didn't know about it, we had that fear of like, I can never go to school or college isn't for me or whatever. And so because of that fear, we didn't really look into it. Well, and I just kind of tell the personal story is my parents passed away when I was in high school. And so I thought, man, I'm never going to go to college. But, that's something, my parents Nigerian, hey, go to school. And then so I went to the military instead. And so I had to transition out of the military back into like civilian life and then back into college, which again, for me, it was just the grace of God, having good mentors around me and then learning about all of this and saying, wait, they don't tell us about this in school. They just tell you to go and you'll figure it out, and I think that does us a big disservice, because when we don't know how many resources are out there, we think, oh, there's not really anything for me out there. And so that's why we've done this. Okay. So I'll get with Terrence's question next. So Carlos, we have 2 resources for you. They're really low cost because we try to make this stuff as low cost as we can. Is our scholarship guidebook, and literally it'll break down everything from the gap year to how to plan out your scholarships. It has actual scholarships in there. It'll talk about the essays and stuff like that, and then it'll talk about other strategies that I didn't talk about today. But there's also we made a parent ebook, and in the parent ebook, it talks about how to talk to your kid. That's literally how it starts off, is the conversation, right? Because the conversation is either, you have different parenting styles. Either, hey, do what I tell you before I slap you, or it's like, hey, look, do what you want because you're not listening, right? And so there's a lot of in between there, right? Yeah. And so we talk about how to intro the conversation to your student or to your child, and then go from there, right? And so again, we try to do really low cost. They're both under $50 and that just helps us out so we could do more of this, obviously.
Hey, LYS fam, it's Olay. Thanks so much for listening to LYS. I just wanted to take a quick moment to talk to the parents. That's right, mom and dad. Parents, prepare your child for their best educational fit after high school with our comprehensive LYS Parents Guidebook. Our helpful guide includes a range of activities designed to help you better understand your child's unique gifts and abilities. Additionally, we provide valuable insights into the student loan debt crisis and offer practical tips on how to avoid accumulating large amounts of debt. Our ebook also includes a wealth of information on scholarships, grants, and payment exemptions that can help guide your child towards a bright and successful future. With our expert guidance, you can rest assured that your child is well prepared to make informed decisions about their education and career path. Don't let your child's future be in jeopardy. Invest in their future today by downloading the LYS Parents Guidebook. Simply go to lys.com/parents to get your copy today. Now let's get back to the show because you know it's some good topics.
And so I think Olay will put those in the chat, okay? And so if you don't mind, I'll try to tackle Terrence's question. He's a high school senior looking into health and fitness. So Terrence, this is a big deal, right? Because I'd imagine you're a young man and you're playing sports. And so often with sports, we think, okay, I'm gonna go to the league, right? And so if we don't go to the league, we kind of have that like, well, what am I supposed to do? I just know I really love sports. And so I'm gonna kind of talk about career clusters and a career ladder, because this is gonna hopefully help to focus career.
Festus, real quick.
Yes.
Kimmy was saying he had like a 3.2 and is thinking of majoring in kinesiology.
So yeah, so that's exactly kind of why I'm going to talk about this career clusters and career ladders. Oh, y'all aren't seeing my screen right here. Let me see. Let me show the screen. Boom. Okay. So there's this great website called BLS.gov, right? And so this is a website. It's a key website. It really is, because it's a website that's put out by the government, what they call Bureau of Labor Statistics, where they take all the jobs in America, the normal, regular, everyday jobs, and they gather as much information on those jobs and make what's called the Occupational Outlook Handbook. And again, by God's grace, I'm sitting in a library one day and I look over and I see this book and I'm like, Occupational Outlook Handbook, what is this? And then I start flipping through it and I'm like, wow, they have all the answers here, yo. Like, Kanye, you ain't got the answers way. But anyway, y'all bear with me. Bear with me on this. Okay, where are we looking at? We're looking at health sciences. Okay, now I'm going to, especially kinesiology, because kinesiology is really the start of a profession, but it's not a profession itself. Now, what do I mean by that? If you remember earlier, I talked about the 6 different options that people have when they graduate from high school. Well, college is more about teaching you theory. Now, when you know enough theory, you could add skill to theory, and eventually you go into a profession. So for example, I'll use Olay as an example. He studied accounting, right? Now, he had a couple different options. He could go get what's called a CPA, which is a professional accountant, right? Or he could go do other skills that work underneath an accountant, right? Same thing as a certified financial planner or something like that. He just learned the skills, but then he had to take the skills and match that with theory and usually some kind of certification, right? And why do I say all this about kinesiology? Is because what are you going to do with kinesiology is the real point that I'm getting at, right? So you have a couple different options, okay? One option is to go the healthcare route, right? The other option is to go the fitness route. Okay, so, and I know this because I kind of do this myself personally, professionally, right? So the healthcare route is to say, I want to go into physical therapy, I want to go into occupational therapy, I want to go into physiotherapy, I want to go into something like that, right? And I hope you're getting the sauce I'm dropping, right? So these are different professions that the Occupational Outlook Handbook outlines, right? So you can see an athletic trainer. So for example, if you say, hey, I love sports, I want to still work around sports, it requires a master's degree for you to do. Okay, so know this, you have to get your undergrad and then go get a master's, and then it pays $48,000. Okay, So back to what we said earlier about how much a degree cost, right? If you're going to, for example, a HBU or a St. Thomas, or you're going to Rice, which actually Rice has some sauce. I don't want to badmouth Rice, and even UT has some sauce, and A&M right now because of some stuff the Dell Foundation has been doing. Let's say that's $40,000 a year. If you go 4 years, you're at $160,000. If you go 6 years, which is the average time it takes to graduate, right, you're at $240,000. If you go 8 years, which is about the time it takes for people to get a master's degree, right? 8 times 40 is 40,000 is what, Olay? You're my science guy. 36, 360.
32.
$320,000. Terrence, if you go $320,000 in debt and you have $48,000 as an income, the math don't math up, right? You're going to be in debt forever. You see what I'm saying? Sure. So this is why I'm trying to get you to kind of think about what are you going to do with the kinesiology outside of just get a kinesiology degree, because some of these degrees, in order to some of these jobs, let me say, these occupations, they need a higher level of education for a good paying job. Now, look at this though. Let's say, for example, now, this is just within the career cluster. You want to be a dental hygienist, which is only an associate's degree. It's a 2-year degree, right? You're still working with people. You're still working in their mouths, it's just a certain subsect, right? You can make $77,000 a year. That's good pay, right? Especially when we said it only takes about $5,000 to go to community college. So that means you can do 2 to 3 years, $10,000 to $15,000, and then come out and make $77,000.
That's more than I make.
Right? Olay's trying to go back to school now. So you see what I'm saying? So are you guys seeing this? Are you guys seeing my? Okay. What are you guys seeing my screen?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Because I'm looking at my phone, I'm seeing something different. Okay. So this is why understanding your career cluster and your career ladder really, really matters, okay? Because again, here you go. You got medical diagnostic sonographers, cardiovascular technologists. It's an associate's degree and makes $75,000. And so I'm going to kind of back up because Carlos, these are the kind of programs that Capital Idea helps to pay for, right? They'll help pay for something like this, right? And so it really just depends on what the school offers, right? So if your daughter's kind of having a hard time figuring out, you want to help have a real gentle conversation to say, hey, look, how can we start to narrow down those things that you're looking to do? And then you could go on a website like this. And again, I'll put it in the chat. And then you could start to say, hey, look, this is a 2-year degree. This is a 4-year degree. Okay, when they say post-secondary non-degree award, that means usually a certification, right? And so it could be a couple weeks to get it. It could be a couple months to get it, that particular certification. If you actually click on these, it will get down to the real nitty gritty what that is, right? So in terms of that career path, right? So I hope this helps, Terrence, right? By again clicking on these links, you're able to go into understand what these jobs are doing. Another big thing is right here. Is the job outlook and the employment change. Is it growing? Is it a career field that's growing, or is it a career field that's dying? Meaning you don't want to go get certified or a degree in something that is dying and is going away. So many people are doing that and they don't really understand what's happening in the career field. And this is why it's so important to have friends, family, mentors who are in that field who could kind of give you some pointers. I know I said a lot. I hope it was helpful. Let me shut up and take a couple last questions and go from there. Let me see. Okay.
So yeah, Kimmy, I was sending her some stuff while you were talking earlier. I actually sent Kimmy and Carlos quite a bit of stuff there. So the kinesiology, I'm gonna jump in real quick because the kinesiology degree is I have a personal history with the kinesiology degree because my youngest brother wanted to go to school for kinesiology when it's time for him to go to college. And he was very talented when it came to math and the sciences. And I really wanted him to do some sort of engineering. So I wanted him to do like biomedical engineering. I was like, just do it because I felt like that engineering degree is very versatile. And Festus, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
He
can take that and kind of use it, in many different places. But he was very set on the kinesiology degree. And so, based off of the way that we were raised, our parents were very authoritarian, and I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be like, you will get this by fire, by force. You will get this degree because I said to do it. I didn't want to do that. So I said, you know what, make the decision, go ahead. Fast forward, brother's still trying to figure out, it's this, is it that. So Festus gave a lot of really, 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 really good information there. The kinesiology, nothing wrong with it as long as it's in line with kind of like his purpose, exactly what he wants to do. Festus, is that fair to say?
No, 100%. I agree 100%. Nobody's telling you not to go, right? It's better to get, and that's literally how we close out our calls is there are legitimate excuses for not going to college. There's no excuse for not getting an education. So we want everybody to get an education, but what are you doing with that thing, right? And so again, just doing a little bit more research, a little bit more homework, right, will help you regarding making sure you have a clear career path. Because and I'm not going to try to knock Olay's brother because I have tried to spend some time with him as well. But the thing is, if you're not in an environment with the people who know that career when you graduate, it becomes a lot harder, right? So if you're one of these people where it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just hang with my homies and we're doing it because we love football, well, they're not looking at it as a career path. So 4 or 5 years down the line, when it's like y'all are done, y'all graduated, you're not around people in that career. So they can't, so your homies, they could talk to you about football. They can't tell you about, like I'm doing this now in kinesiology to make money, right? Unless they go that path with you. And so that's why it's just really key to have the right mentorship. Obviously, you could jump on these calls anytime. Definitely subscribe to our YouTube because we have some fire stuff on our YouTube that will help with this. So I just put the career cluster thing in the chat. And yeah, I'm open. I'll take any more questions. Olay, you're muted. You want to?
Yeah, hopefully that helped. Kemi, did you have anything else? Any other questions that we can kind of go over in a couple seconds?
Well, this is like his major, trying to get him to pick a major has been hard because he was leaning more towards engineering. Like trying to get him to settle down and focus has been hard. On something. So school wise, he has because he goes to Christian school right now, Seventh-day Adventist. So he has a scholarship right now that will follow him that he's getting in high school to college, but it has to be a Christian school. So I know he applied to Oakwood University in Huntsville, Alabama. He applied to Southwest Adventist, SWIU. We call it SWIU. It's like by Colleen. And he's applied to, I think, Loma Linda. Waiting back. I know he takes the SAT again because he's been taking it. I think they took it their first time their junior year, so he takes it again this year. But like I said, just to get him to focus or pick something has been hard. And so this is my first time hearing about the kinesiology. I know he wanted to do something sports related. He had to get off the call because he was on his way somewhere. But it's a lot of information. I just need him to talk to somebody. And when it comes to me, like him talking to me, I guess because I'm auntie, it's kind of like I don't know. And he doesn't really give me an answer.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say a couple of things. Is he in Houston too, or?
Yes, he's in Houston.
Okay, because on June 10th, we're going to be doing an event with nonprofit organization to talk about careers. And so it's called Career Discovery. with the NAMC, Nigerian American Multicultural Council. And so we'll be there doing that event. And that's going to be a good time where he can hear from people who are actually in careers. And we try to get people who are in what would be, professions, but then other people who are in like just practical careers, meaning everything else, and so that would be the big thing. Obviously, we try to do this for free every Sunday, so he can come on here. Well, he's more than welcome. And then just following our YouTube channel, because we have a lot of conversations like this or similar to this where we've either gone out to do work in churches or in the community, and people ask those questions, and so we try to put those up on YouTube. And so it just really depends on the approach he needs, because some people are like, hey, just give me the video and I'll do it myself. Some people are like, no, I need you to hold my hand and walk me through it, and so yeah. So we also have a free ebook on our website. Yeah, I'll put that in the chat as well, that he can get.
Actually, Kemi, it's in the, don't worry, Festus, I'll send the link right now to her.
Okay. Sure.
Also, real quick, Festus, what's the school you told me about in Florida?
Oh, Pensacola Christian College.
Pensacola Christian College. That,
oh, yeah.
I don't know if he's not. I don't know if he's not trying to go that far out. But man, based off of what Festus told me about that school, I think that's a wonderful.
Who, I would.
He needs to.
Yeah,
I'm trying to push him away, like not staying local. I'm trying to push him away. He needs to go away because it's going to force him to become independent, I believe.
Gotcha.
Like he's been crutched or had us his whole life. Like, you need to go away. And I know it was the best thing for me.
Gotcha.
So
true.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Yeah, I just sent it to you. I think that's a wonderful.
You just sent her the Pensacola Christian College?
No. I sent her the 10 things to do before going to college.
Okay, yeah.
I can send that though.
No, I'm pulling it up right now.
Oh, okay. That's
is it something with? I'm wondering. Is it something?
Yeah, because you told me about that. I was like, man, you talked to me about that school about 2 or 3 times, man. That just seems like a really, really, really.
I mean, the big thing about it to me is, number one, the cost. Number two, to me, they're very sound theologically. I love stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's a little bit different because a lot of people who go there actually come from homeschool, right? They're homeschool people. So that part will probably be a little bit different, but yeah, they're really stringent academically, but again, they do just certain things that again are different. He'll be able to spread his wings, but at the same time have a lot of structure, because they're kind of, to me, they follow more of a Japanese model where the students are actively involved in the campus. So it's not just like, oh, you're a student, you're hanging out. No, the students is cutting the grass, they washing the dishes. The students are doing like all kinds of stuff, but it helps to keep the tuition really low. You know what I mean? So like you said, if he already has a scholarship that's attached to him and this scholarship would apply here, it would be really great, because, at the same time, you're not going to be worried about like, oh, is he going to come out with a lot of debt? I think the big thing is just going somewhere where he could focus and finish. Like a lot of people, it's just a lack of discipline, the lack of the environment to help them succeed. That's the biggest thing. So yeah. So I think that's the show. Olay, you want to wrap us up? And
for sure.
Let's see if the guys have anything else they want to say or input.
Crawford Hill, thank you guys for being so patient with us. We was going in today. Y'all seen Festus turn that Ramsey mode, you know what I'm saying? Put it in third gear, you know what I mean? That boy was green, he was going on us. I didn't want to stop him, You guys got anything you want to drop?
After that, no. Mine would be worthless after what he just said. I'm good. That's all, folks.
Well, I actually try to do research on this stuff. So yeah. Glad I could help. Glad I could help somebody.
No, for sure, man. All right. So, man, thanks so much to Carlos and Kemi for coming on today. As always, thank you to Mark. Thank you, Daniel, soon to be doctor, and the provost for coming in and blessing us every week. And thank you guys so much. I know, like Martin used to say. What did Martin used to say to Tommy and Cole? When I blow up, boom, we blow up.
I thought you could say you ain't got no job, Tom.
Man, you know what? When I was laid off, man, Festus used to always hit me with that. He's like, man, you know what I'm saying? We all here doing our thing. And then you got Olay. Man, everybody know Olay ain't got no job. I thought you were gonna say, ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis.
You do look like Tommy though.
With the bald head too.
Yeah, you do look like Tommy. My boy,
you ain't got no job.
You remember what he said? There was that episode.
That milk dud going strong, huh?
You remember that episode? He said, they said, oh, we followed you to work. He said, oh, I went to my job. They're like, we followed you. He was like, oh, you went to the other building? No, I work. It was so funny, bro. It was so funny.
Word on the street. Oh, man. Awesome, man. Thank you guys so much for being with us. Festus, go ahead. Hit him with the tagline, man.
So yeah, again, thank you for joining us for this episode of Edu-Steps, powered by Laddering of Success, free student mentoring. Listen, there are legitimate excuses for not going to college. There's no legitimate excuse for not getting an education, and we will see you next time. Thank you so much.
Oh, you still there? Well, thank you so much for listening to the LYS Podcast.